the bit that really hurts. Tony Snelsden, 27, is a lawyer who went to the Jesuit College of Beaumont, where they used a ferula, a long piece of whalebone covered with leather. I must have been beaten about twice a week, which put me near the top of the first division. It was a most unbearable experience, very frightening to climb those old stairs, walk along that creaking corridor, rap on the door and go in to stand there trembling while this old priest wrote the offense down in a black book. Sometimes you'd go there early and run away, but eventually, of course, you always went in. You had friends waiting downstairs in the washrooms with basins of water of different temperature. Everyone had a theory about whether it was best to plunge your hand straight away into hot water or cold. Every time it happened, I thought, I'm not going to misbehave anymore, not so much because of the pain. When you did cry, it was just as much anger as the build-up. After the priest had whacked you, you had to thank him. Steve Bullock is a 36-year-old lawyer who went to Wells Cathedral School. Now it's very liberal, then it was as close as you can get in the Anglican Church to a monastery. They whacked you for just mucking about, in a very arbitrary way. What worries you is the anticipation, not the actual pain. We were always beaten the following day, so we had a 24-hour build-up, and this is what freaks you out. It didn't make the slightest bit of difference. The kids that are going to reform on the threat of the cane will do so without being beaten. The whole thing is it's cold and calculating. I only hit my children if they're really winding me up. I don't think people at school should be beaten except for outrageous behavior. Stuart Bridge, 19, was at Maysbrook Comprehensive. He was caned twice, once for fighting and once for playing Penny Up the Wall, a game where you throw pennies at a wall and the one nearest the wall keeps the other pennies. He was, he says, only watching, not playing. It was only one stroke, but I thought it was rough justice. It didn't stop me, just stung for a while. I don't think it's right. Danny Sullivan, 17, was caned for missing a games lesson. My mates locked me into the cloakroom for a laugh, but although they locked me in, I was the one caned. Caning didn't have any effect on me, it only stung a little and then you'd go and big-mouth it to your mates, I've just been caned. Steve Barnes, 25, says of his grammar school that while caning was official policy, it was used only once or twice during his time. It was a distant threat for a gross breach of discipline rather than anything else. 1 or 2 teachers weren't able to keep discipline. If people got out of hand, or were violent or played truant, there was this thought hanging over them. I haven't really thought whether I agree with it or not, except that I do believe punishment of that sort is something for a parent to take care of, and I certainly wouldn't want a teacher doing it to any child of mine without my knowing.